If you can hear me, you probably can. I am going to be standing in my kitchen this morning, and here I am. You're hearing the milk foamer on the background. Sorry about that. Let me just double check if that is not too distracting while I make my cup of coffee and we have a quick chat about health and fitness. No, seems like the sound's working just fine. Hey there, how are you doing? For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old and I train to live an active, self-sufficient and adventurous life. And if you were watching the stream 2 days ago, you saw that I injured my back, which means that I am not going to be doing any weight training or kettlebell training for the foreseeable future. And we are going to have to plan around that reality for a while. Let me start with the basics. I work on my health by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours in a night. The last 2 days, because of my injury, I've been able to increase the amount of sleep I've been getting to around 8 or 9 hours, which has been incredible because I feel a lot better. I also mind what I eat. I try to eat within my energy balance, which is around 2,200 calories, I think, on an average regular day. We'll talk about some changes I'm making there because I'm going to be a lot less active, at least for the next 2 weeks, what that means for me. But I try to eat within my energy balance. I try to eat my greens and vegetables, and I try to eat 120 to 150 grams of protein in a day. So just take note of that. And then generally I'd be doing strength training, strength conditioning training, mobility training, which would be heavy kettlebells, during which I injured my back, medium and light kettlebells, more focused on high rep ranges and conditioning, so challenging my cardiovascular system, and runs. I actually wanted to go for a run yesterday after the training was done, sprint intervals, but that obviously didn't happen. And besides that, I try to spend time with people I love and care about, do things that I enjoy, and generally live a stress-free life. Now, let's start with what happened, because I think that's important. What happened is that during training, Wednesday morning, I was having a fun conversation. There were some people on the chat. I was having a good time. And as we were talking, I got distracted. I got into a position to lift a heavy weight, 20 kilos, with one hand. Consider that heavy weight. Some people might consider it medium, but you're pulling 20 kilos of steel off the ground. I didn't focus. I didn't brace myself properly. And rather than creating the right amount of force and power from my legs, I instead pulled that weight through to rack position with my back. So when you're holding something with your left hand with the kettlebell, you're predominantly, obviously, stabilizing and working with the right side of the body, and immediately pain shot through my back, my lower back specifically. I saw white spots. I blanked for a fraction of a second, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen next. So I put the weight down, assessed, and said, we're going to stop the training right now because this doesn't feel like I am going to be able to go on. And I was right about that. I will say I got incredibly lucky because I am standing right now. I was able to sit up in bed this morning when I woke up, and I could more or less put on my own socks this morning. Again, that's 2 days later yesterday I could already kind of squat down again a bit better. And I walked a lot. I am actually going to go out on a walk in a little bit. And I was actually able to do the hunter squat, so to sit down on one knee and pick something up, and then able to stand back up with both legs. And I'll also tell you in a moment why that might be of interest in a situation like this. So Wednesday, I spent in a considerable amount of agony and pain. I can tell you it wasn't a lot of fun to be me that day. Of course, I had to wait for my wife to come down. I had to ask her to move the kettlebells from the kitchen. So there was no way I was going to hide that I'd done something stupid. And she was rightfully concerned and worried. We talked about what needed to happen next. And all in all, I think the takeaway was, well, let's wait and see what the professionals say and make a plan from there. So took it easy on Wednesday, and thankfully in the evening the physiotherapist was able to call me back, and we talked about the symptoms that I had, and it seems, and I'm specifically encouraged 2 days later by the fact that the symptoms haven't gotten worse, but apparently have gotten better. It seems like it's not a herniation of the back, but that the disc definitely suffered a bit too much pressure, and therefore that whole system around one of the discs in the bottom of my back and the muscles there are going to be aching and complaining for a while and need to rest and heal before we can attempt to do anything else. Today we're going to do a full physical checkup, and we'll see what happens. I think there are a couple of insights here for the purposes of longevity and the purposes of general health and fitness that we can learn from this episode. Because am I going to be sitting still at home? No, definitely not. I think that's important to realize as well, is that this doesn't mean that I'm going to stop doing what I'm doing, as in trying to live an active lifestyle, but it does mean that I need to make some changes. So for example, climbing 21 flights of stairs is then going to be a good idea in the next week, specifically with a 2-kilo briefcase hanging on one side or the other. Probably not for the foreseeable week. So I won't be going up and down the stairs in the entire building, but I will be making some changes. So let's start at the beginning. Will I be showing up for streams? Yes, but they will probably be like this in the morning. So there'll be a chat, and after the chat, I'm going to go out for a walk. And I think that is going to be the mode of operation for the coming week, at least. So through next week, Friday. That gives me 10 days, give or take, 10 days of rest. All right. Why? Keep moving, keep walking is good in general, and I need to keep my activity levels up. It is the bare minimum that I can do. I am able to walk. It is better if I walk versus standing still, and definitely versus sitting. And I need to keep up the overall activity level throughout the day, which is going to be harder because I'm missing a relatively intense part of my activity counter in the day already first thing in the morning. Throughout the day, I'm probably also going to have to walk a bit more. So I'm going to have to find times to walk for at least 1 hour, maybe before I go to work, 1 hour during work, and 1 hour at the end of the day. That's 3 hours of walking, which is about 1.5 hours more than I would usually do, because usually during the day, trying to stay active, I go up and down stairs. I take quite a bit of little walks around the block in between meetings. I do meetings while I'm walking, and generally there'll be some sort of activity towards the end of the afternoon, just to stay active and keep my body moving in different ways. So walking more, but also walking smartly, because my back is hurting. Right now standing is actually uncomfortable. I'm not going to say painful, it's uncomfortable. So there needs to be some variation in the posture. Try to avoid sneezing, because sneezing hurts. Try to avoid putting on and off my shoes, because bending over forward while seated is uncomfortable. So there are many limitations right now to what I can and cannot do. Second thing that we're going to be mindful of is eating. Specifically, it is very clear, right, that energy in, energy out is going to be different for the next 2 weeks. Walking is not the same as lifting kettlebells, sprints, and 60 minutes of steady state running. So I will probably definitely consume my energy balance, maybe 2100 or less, in terms of the activities that I undertake throughout the day. Despite walking for 3 hours, I know that walking is such a low intensity form of exercising that it is not going to be possible for me to continue eating the same way that I eat when I actually have my full week training schedule on, and expect to stay at the same level of leanness. It's 1, 2, because I won't be challenging my muscles for at least 2 weeks, right, from today. That's just going to be a fact. I'm also going to lose some muscle mass, probably over time. And that's fine, because we can build that back up later. It's one of the big drawbacks of being injured, is getting back to where I am today, specifically today, in order to stay on track for my long-term health and fitness goals. So those things taken together means that my energy consumption is going to change. I'm treating myself to a coffee with foamed soy milk, which is Jason. Hi, thanks for dropping by, saying hi. I appreciate you dropping by and chat and saying hello, and I hope you're doing well where you are today. I'm just talking, and I'm going to wrap up in a moment actually, about what I'm going to do with my health and fitness now that I injured my back during last week, Wednesday's training. I am doing all right, thank you. I hope you're doing well where you are in the world, and I hope you're either having a good start of the day or a good end of the day, depending where you're at. It is 6:30 a.m. where I am at, so I'm having a start of the day. We were talking about what I will be eating for the next 2 weeks, because I won't be training as hard, and I won't be able to do weight training or conditioning training. The only thing I will be doing is walking, and the lower impact or the lower intensity of walking means that I need to shift something in my energy balance if I do not want to put on too much excess weight, as that will put me even further back from my goals. And there's a balance to strike here, right? Because my body needs fuel to recover, but at the same time, I also do not want to put on too much soft tissue, because we've been working so hard to put on proper lean mass over time. Not a big shift probably to expect in 2 weeks, but still something to be mindful of. So different type of movement pattern, different type of eating pattern. Sleep, absolutely prioritizing sleep at the moment. Why? Sleep is when we recover, right? And we've talked about this quite frequently. That means that for me, what I hope to get out of the sleep is, first of all, a lot of rest. But second of all, is to give my body just that slight little edge in the amount that we're sleeping over the next week that might speed up or improve the recovery process for my back. Where we stand today compared to Wednesday, I literally couldn't do anything. Like getting into and out of bed Wednesday night was terrible, painful. Turning side to side, trying to find a good position. In the end, the only thing I could do was lie on my back, or strangely enough, on my right side. Gave some relief, but any odd movement hurt. Going to yesterday, getting out of bed was hard, but it felt slightly better. I walked a lot. I also got painkiller / anti-inflammatory medicine, which I will need to take today again. And I noticed a change throughout the day because I did a lot of walking, I think 3 to 4 hours of walking, which was good. And I noticed in the evening I had regained some flexibility and movement. It was easier to sit on the floor and play with the children. Still discomfortable, but definitely able to do it better. And compare that to today, getting out of bed, or actually in the middle of the night, I noticed, because I needed to get out of bed. 41 years old, and I can tell you, after 40, don't drink too much water before going to sleep. Anyway, I had to get out of bed, and I could sit upright. Slightly discomfortable and painful, but I managed to do it and then get out of bed and get back into bed comfortably as well. So that seems to me like improvement today as well. I could just sit up and get out of bed, as opposed to yesterday where I had to slide down to the foot end of the bed and very carefully tilt myself up to try and keep my spine straight until my toes touched the floor, and then kind of get up. It was quite awkward and also somewhat painful, but it was the least painful option yesterday. So we see that range of motion improving. I would hope that progression stays the same for the next week, and I'm going to try to do everything I can to make sure that it does, so that I heal and recover quickly, so we can get back to rebuilding strength and conditioning over time. But when and where that's going to start, well, first we have the physio today, and then we're going to have a check-in. We're going to have to listen to our bodies and see what can and cannot be done, because in the bigger scheme of things, I need to be prepared for life and living. I have a family that counts on me. I have a job to do, and I'm trying to stay healthy so that I can live a long and active and healthy life. That's the update for today. I'm going to go out for that walk right now, first walk of the day. It's a bit hard to stream during the walk, that's why we're doing it like this. So for the next couple of days, this is going to be the stream. I might do it from here, I might do it from where I usually set up my workout equipment, but since I won't be lifting anything heavy, there won't be any kettlebells or anything there. I appreciate the support, I appreciate the well wishes. I appreciate the concern during the stream for everyone who's watching. Yeah, I mean, this is a part of the journey, so I figured we might as well stop and have a chat about it, because we can learn something from training, we can learn something from nutrition, we can learn something from sleep, we can learn something from being active, and we can learn something from recovery and being injured. Is this the most motivating moment in my journey? Absolutely not. Am I pissed off with myself? Absolutely. I am specifically a bit let down by the fact that everything was going so well, right? We were on track 7 days a week. We had a heavy light schedule. We were lifting the 24 and 20 kilo again. We were working on my shoulder to increase the range of motion with the physiotherapist so that we could get to those proper snatches, heavy. And something like this could have completely changed the trajectory of that. Like I said at the start, I got lucky. we're in a good spot to make a full recovery, and we are going to have to build up smarter and better, but we will, and we're going to be on that journey together from here. And I think it is not strange to get injured in the span of a 25-year plan for health and fitness. Preferably we don't, but what do we do if it does happen? Well, let's find out. Thanks for dropping by, friends. Thanks for watching. Remember, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow for another chat about recovery, health, and fitness. Take care, friends. Ooh, watch me walk off screen real slow. It's going to be a slow walk. And remember, subscribe.